video. Okay, got that in. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Veronica Wentz. I know I've talked to a lot of you so far about this trip. I'm really glad you showed up. We have 100 people that signed up for this meeting tonight. And so whoever, it's being recorded, you'll also get a copy of this recording sent in your mail, probably, I guess, tomorrow is when we'll get it out to you. But my husband Christopher and I, we own Queen of Heaven Tours. It's a Catholic pilgrimage company. We're based out of Steubenville, Ohio. My husband and I met at Franciscan University, and we've been married for 31 and a half years, and we were blessed with 9 kids. And we have 2 grandbaby daughters, adorable little granddaughters. And so mostly you'll talk to me or one of our team members. My husband's more in the background, but so it's either me or one of our employees that you will probably talk to if you have any questions. We are happy to partner with Globus. That's where Tina comes in. So Globus is our partner in our pilgrimages that we do. And that's really a great benefit too, because not only do you have our company that's involved in your trip, but also Globus, who has been in business, Tina, I'm sure will tell you, but like decades, and they have lots of connections. So you have 2 really great companies that stand behind your pilgrimages. I'm going to take a second. Our priest here, who's going to be on the pilgrimage with us, is Father Charles. And if he could just hop on and unmute himself, and he'll talk a little bit about himself, and maybe he can start our meeting with a prayer.
All right, well, we'll do the prayer first. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death.
Amen.
Our Lady of Fatima,
Pray for us.
Our Lady of Lourdes.
Pray for us.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. So recently ordained, less than a year as a priest. I'm a member of the Franciscans of the Immaculate. Currently continuing with theology studies, working on in a bit of a panic, working on finishing my thesis right now. This will be my first time to either Fatima or Lourdes or Avila. So this will be an entirely new experience for me as well. I've been in Rome for the past like 7 years doing studies. I'm back in the States for a little bit and then heading back after this pilgrimage, flying to Rome. I would invite, my institute specializes in sort of Mariology, Marian devotion, following the teaching and example of St. Maximilian. So Marian pilgrimages are something that's sort of right up our alley. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'm not sure if there's anything, any information that Veronica would like to try to pull out of me, or if anybody else has anything.
And we can actually hold our questions to the end, and that way, it won't hurt. But yeah, Father, we have daily mass every day, and he'll be available for confessions as well, and any other questions, or if you need spiritual direction, that kind of thing, Father will be available. So we're really blessed to have our priest join us for this trip, and I've known the order of the Franciscans of the Immaculate for, I don't know, 20 years probably, since we had lived in New York for a short time, and knew the friars from up there. So very glad to have him be able to join us on our trip. And so now I will hand it over to Tina. She's going to tell us more about our what we can expect on our trip here. So.
Great. Thanks, Veronica. Can I ask all of you just a little housekeeping, if you want to mute yourselves, only because in case there's noise, background noise, puppy dogs, kitty cats, that kind of thing, that otherwise we'll all hear it and we'll all hear all of your conversations. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm excited to do this presentation. I was talking to Veronica, and she kind of gave me a synopsis of what you guys were doing and what you opted to do for your itinerary. And as I was putting this PowerPoint together, I got really excited. I'm also Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. So a lot of this is familiar to me. I've been to some of these places, but not all of them. And to be able to research and to learn about it as I was putting the PowerPoint together was really interesting and amazing. So I think she's put together an amazing trip for you, something that you're really going to enjoy, learn a lot as well. And it probably goes to some of the most beautiful parts of Europe. Portugal's kind of an up and coming area. This is a shot here that you see of Lisbon, actually. And you're going up to northern Spain, which is also absolutely stunning. And then you're ending up in France and right through Basque Country. And it's unbelievably beautiful. So not only will you be spiritually awakened, but you'll also be visually awakened as well. It's a gorgeous place to travel in Europe. So excited to talk about it a little bit tonight. As you know, as Veronica introduced me, my name's Tina Tiano. I'm actually a business development manager for Globus Family Brands, which is a tour operator. And my job is to call on travel agents such as Veronica. So I try and help them develop their business and teach them how to sell our product. But she does such a good job already that I don't really have to do much work with her. But I also wanted to give a shout out to her because I in my career, I've been in the travel industry now probably for close to 30 years. And I have the opportunity to work with a lot of travel agencies. And I have to say, working with her, even though it's been a short amount of time, I am just so impressed by her expertise, her attention to detail, and the fact that she cares very much about you, her clients. She was just spot on with everything that she was asking. She's just so informed regarding the product that she sells. So I just wanted to give her kind of a shout out because I just want you to know that you're in really good hands, that you've chosen to work with her. She's one of the best that I've encountered, and you're going to have an amazing trip with her. So I just want to talk a little bit about my company, which is Globus, because I want you to feel also comfortable working with us as well. As Veronica said, we've been in business a while, as you can see. We actually originated in 1928. We were developed by two Italian gentlemen who used to ferry people across the Italian lakes, Lake Lugano, in fact. In fact, our home office, one of them is still there in Lugano. The other one is in Denver. And from ferrying people across the Italian lakes, touring once they got across the lake, this was our first motor coach, quote unquote, that you see here, our first tour bus. We grew into one of the largest travel companies in the entire world. So we have every mode of travel, whether you want to travel with a group or independently or on a river cruise. We now encompass a company that has over 543 vacations, a multitude of continents, a multitude of countries. But the key factor is we're celebrating our 96th anniversary. And that's what I like to impress upon people that travel with us. We've done it long enough that we know what we're doing. We know how to do it well. We take into consideration all the opinions of all our past travelers, and we try and make the best product for you. I want you to feel really safe, really secure that you're traveling with an extremely stable company that operates completely in the black. We've been through world wars. We've been through stock market crashes. We've been through COVID, and we're still going strong, and we're going to continue to do that. So again, I want you to just feel very comfortable traveling with us. So just a little bit about the tour that you're going to be on as far as the logistics of it. We use Mercedes-Benz motor coaches here in the top of the line as far as what you're going to be traveling with or on between cities. So what I love about these, they're 3 axles. So you're probably saying, Tina, what the heck does that mean? Well, 3 axles means a much smoother ride. It's much more stable. Since these are virtually brand new, I think our oldest motor coach in Europe is about 2 years old. There is a lot of seat pitch, which means leg room. And a lot of seat width, which is seat room, which is also helpful sometimes. We have Wi-Fi on board, so you're always connected. It's completely free, of course. We have USB charging ports, we have electrical outlets, so you can make sure that everything, all your equipment is charged. So if you want to take photos and you want to, if you're a, social media person and you want to post them, or if you just want to send text to your family or friends back home to show them what you're doing or to let them know that you're okay or where you are, you always have access. So it's a key feature for us. We want you to travel in comfort. I think a lot of times when people think of touring, they have this misconception that you're going to get up at 6 a.m. and we're going to run you ragged till the end of the day, and then you're going to collapse and start over the next day. It's really not the case anymore. You spend less than 20% of your time on the motor coach. It's basically just to get you from point A to point B. And you have a lot of free time built into the structure of your tour. I happen to love escorted touring because I feel that I learn a lot more. I feel like there's freedom within the structure. So I have the ability to do things on my own, but I also are not going to miss the must-see sites. And you guys have some really amazing sites on your itinerary that you're going to be seeing. We also use top-of-the-line hotels. So I know some of the places you're going may be a bit smaller towns, but we use first-class centrally located hotels. So they're right in the heart of the city. So when you're not touring, you literally can walk out in your steps, within steps of everything that place has to offer. We also make sure that they meet American standards because we're picky sometimes, and we expect certain things in our hotel and the quality of our hotels. They'll always have hair dryers, for instance. They'll always have in-room safes. They'll have coffee makers. They'll have robes and slippers, things of that nature, things that Americans are used to having when they travel locally, and they expect them when they go overseas. So we literally go to these cities and we check them out every year to make sure that they stay at that standard. So we hand select these properties. So we want to make sure that you have the utmost of comfort and the ability to get to where you want to be when you're staying in the hotel itself. The other thing that we handpick, and who I think we get the cream of the crop, are our tour directors. So you will have a tour director with you the entirety of your trip. They will be with you from day one. They'll be with you on every stop. They're there to assist you, to help you, to educate you, to give you information. We pick the ones that are passionate about what they're promoting and what they're talking about to you, the client. They care about the places that you're going to, and they have a passion in imparting that knowledge to you. So you're going to see, as you travel with your tour guide, you're going to get to know them, and they really are like your right-hand man. If you have anything additionally you want to see or do, you just want information, they're there as a resource to assist you and to make sure that your tour is seamless. Because a tour guide can make or break your vacation. And when you have a good one, you will remember them. They're like having that really good teacher when you were in school. You're not going to forget them. And that's really important, I think, when traveling. We also supplement all of our tour guides with local guides in each place. And I noticed as I was going through your itinerary that you have quite a lot of private local guides that are going to take you around the sites. What I like about that is those people are from that area. They were either raised there or they've been there most of their life. So you're going to get the kind of information from them that you're not going to get from just anybody. They're going to be able to tell you the ins and outs, where might be the best place to get a cappuccino, or where's the best place to have a certain kind of local food. They're there to really educate you, to inspire you. I was in Berlin not that long ago, and the local guide there had been there when the Berlin Wall came down. And when she gave us a blow-by-blow account of what happened, I felt like I was living it. I felt like I was totally culturally immersed. And that's what's so nice about having a local guide to supplement your tour guide. So you've got two. So it's basically 2 for 1, and you'll have different local guides through the entirety of your vacation experience.
I just want to jump in real quick.
Sure.
And something really neat that we have in Fatima, the local tour guide that we work with in there, he has lived in Fatima his whole life, and his grandparents witnessed the miracle of the sun. So he has the neatest stories to tell. like the devotion just flows from him. Like you can't help but catch it because he is so passionate about Our Lady of Fatima and the shrine and just the story of Fatima and Our Lady, that it's really amazing. But I think it's really cool that he'll be there. And, you know, his grandparents saw the miracle of the sun. Like, how many people can say that? I just think it's fantastic
It's
that
amazing.
that we're blessed to be able to work with him.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The other thing we have, I think that's key, is that we have VIP access to a lot of the attractions. So a lot of times when you're traveling and you're traveling during a peak time, the crowds are like what you see here in this picture, and you have to wait. Well, with us, you do get VIP access. You get to skip the line. We call them happy lines because there's no line at all. And we have that for all the major attractions all through Europe on all of our tours. So it's a key factor, I think, when you're traveling with us. The last thing I'll tell you about before I dive into the itineraries, we do have an app that's free, of course. You can download it from your app store. It's our Globus Go app or our Cosmos Go app. You can download it. And what's nice about it is your entire itinerary will come over. You just put in the booking number that Veronica will give you. Your itinerary will come over, your flight information, and there is a wealth of knowledge on this app. There's information about every place you're going. There's information about things to do outside of what your tour provides. There's information on local customs, on language, on weather, on money, on how to dress. And there's a GPS in it as well. So if there's somewhere you want to go in your off time, we'll literally GPS you from point A to point B. So you can't get lost. Your hotel information, everything is in there. So I use it all the time when I travel with us. I've used it, I can't even begin to tell you, to find like little out of the way places. I was in London not that long ago, and I wanted to go to a neighborhood pub, not a city pub, but a neighborhood pub. And I found this pub on my app that was called Prince William Pub. And literally it walked me to the tube, which is their underground system, told me where to get on, where to get off. Once I got off, it walked me to the front door of this pub. And I was with some friends, and we met locals that were in the neighborhood, and we just sat there and we talked into the wee hours. It was just an authentic experience. So you're going to find a lot of that kind of information on the app, in addition to all of the pertinent information that you need to make your tour run seamlessly. So, Veronica, I don't know if you've done this one before, Veronica, but she chose the pilgrimage to Fatima, Villa, Lourdes, and more, because there's a lot involved in this as I was going through it. It's an ideal itinerary, and I love, love, love the time of year that you're traveling. I've been to Europe in the peak of summer, and the crowds and the heat, it's sometimes a challenge. And so she's chosen a time that's a little bit more in shoulder season. It'll be a bit less crowded. And it also will be a little less, the heat won't be as intense, which is great as well, as you travel through Europe. And I just absolutely adored this itinerary as I was putting it together, because it does some of my favorite areas in Europe. So you're basically starting in Portugal, you're starting in Lisbon, and you're going up to the north of Spain, which I think is one of the most beautiful places on the face of the earth. And then you're going into France. So I know you're going for reasons that are a bit more different than quote unquote sightseeing, but that area is absolutely scenically stunning. So you're not only going to get to have your experience spiritually, but you're also going to get to see some of the most beautiful cities and towns that I think this area has to offer, which is fantastic as well. So the first day you're going to board your flight. I'm guessing you're all coming from different cities. I can guess that, Veronica, because we've got people coming from all over the country.
Yeah, we'll talk about flights more too after your presentation, because we'll just talk about flights in a little bit. So
Gotcha. And most flights to Europe, the majority, 99.9% of them, leave in the afternoon or evening. So you're going to fly overnight and you're going to get to Europe the next day. So that's typically what we're looking at. So you're going to arrive into one of these sort of the new hotspots. It's sort of the up and coming area, which is Lisbon. I absolutely adore Lisbon. It's a very hilly sort of coastal capital. I think it's very vibrant. It's a historic city, and it has a really rich cultural heritage. And you'll notice it the minute that you arrive. So when you do arrive, you're going to be met at the airport by a Globus representative. They will make sure that you get to the hotel that you need to be at. And then your tour guide will be meeting you later that evening. We normally have a welcome dinner that night so that they can kind of go over the parameters of your tour. And they'll go over details, things you need to know, must-sees, don't-dos, and all that kind of thing. And it'll also give you an opportunity to sort of bond with your fellow travelers on board the coach. So it'll be kind of a nice start or kickoff to your tour. So once you do arrive and you get to your hotel, we do have a private mass arranged for you at the Church of St. Anthony. So this church was actually built on the site where St. Anthony was born in 1195. So it's built on that exact site. And he was one of the most popular saints in Portugal as well. He was sort of known for his love of the poor, which I found to be interesting as I was doing some research because he was raised by came from a very wealthy family. So just an interesting little bit of information, but it's a great way, I think, to start off this kind of tour, to have a private mass there.
It's something interesting too about St. Anthony. We all know him as St. Anthony of Padua, right? And he's thought of as an Italian saint, but he's really a Portuguese saint. And the Portuguese claim him, like they're like, no, he's St. Anthony of Portugal. And so they have big, huge feast days. And for him, it's like they shut down the streets. In fact, our last tour and our last pilgrimage was in June, and we missed his feast day by like a day or two, but everything was was coming up in a day or two. They were shutting down the streets. They were putting up pavilion. It was huge. It would be really fun to be there at one time for his actual feast day. But yeah, the Portuguese definitely claim him as theirs, and he's not St. Anthony of Padua to them. So
it's interesting because anybody named Anthony for Italians, they
Right.
claim that, because I can say that because I'm Italian. So both sides of my family is Italian. As you can tell, I'm talking with my hands. So yes, I can see where they would do that as well. And then you're also going to get an opportunity to do a little bit of a walking tour of Lisbon, which I think is really important. Lisbon's a beautiful city, and it's very historic. It's gorgeous to walk in. It's a great walking city. So you're going to do sort of a walking tour of the waterfront. You'll see the 7 hills which surround it. You'll also see the beautiful tiles that they make in Portugal. They're hand painted. They're blue and white. You'll recognize them right away, the azulejos tiles. So you have an opportunity to do some of those things as well. I love the antique trams here in the city. I feel like I'm going back in time whenever I see them. And you will have a chance to sample the custard tarts. So I'm kind of a foodie person. I love food, and I think eating is part of a cultural experience when you travel as well. So the custard tarts are really kind of well known in Portugal. So you have an opportunity to sample them in Lisbon. You'll also have an opportunity to see the Belem Tower, which was built in the 16th century, and it's right on the waterfront, and it's really unique. It started off as a fortress, as you can see. It has that feel to it, but it ended up turning into a toll booth. And it was kind of an area where all of the major explorers set sail from this area. So you're talking like Vasco da Gama, Magellan, all left from this area. So you'll have a tour here with a local guide that will give you that information, historical information as well. And then you'll end up with a welcome dinner. I loved the food in Portugal and Spain. I like everything, unfortunately, but the food in Portugal was absolutely delicious. It was a couple of things that stood out to me. A lot of seafood, obviously, because you're on the water, and a lot of stews, sausages and stews, which were delicious. So I don't think you'll have a problem eating while you're here. And these are the custard tarts that I was mentioning earlier. So you'll have an opportunity to try those out as well. They're a bit addictive. And then they're one of those things that when you come home, you'll want one, and you'll never be able to find one that's as good as the ones you had in Portugal. So then we're coming to day 3. So that night, you're going to be fairly tired. I don't know how many of you are coming in early or how many of you are not, but if you're coming in that day, you've got a pretty full day, and then you have your welcome dinner that night. And then the next day, you start off from Lisbon. And from Lisbon, you're going to go to Santarem and to Fatima. So we've got a lot packed into this day. This is a shot right here you can see of Santarem, which the views here are stunning with the tile roofs. It's sort of a region, it's right on the TUES River. So it's in a very scenic location here. And this area is kind of known, it's got a lot of really beautiful, really lush green parks and squares as you walk through the city itself. You will have a private mass here at the Chapel of the Holy Miracle. So I thought this story, and Veronica, you can correct me if I'm not saying this, precisely, but as I was reading the story, it really was unique because it was a local woman who found out her husband was cheating. And she went to a sorceress who told her that she could sort of get back at her husband, but she needed a consecrated host. So what she did is she went to mass, and when she got communion and they placed it on her tongue, she didn't swallow it. Instead, she took it out and wrapped it in a little handkerchief, took it home with her. She was going to give it to the sorceress the next day, but instead she put it in the trunk for the night. So that night, the host actually started bleeding. And her and her husband saw this bleeding host coming from the trunk, the blood coming out, and they were astounded by it, of course. And so then they sat down and they began to pray. And from that, they reconciled. So I thought that was kind of a really unique story. And the host that was actually used is located in this church. So yes, and so you will be having mass here as well, which is.
And you can see in this picture too. So after the Blessed Sacrament was bleeding in the trunk, they got the priest, and he did a Eucharistic procession from their house to the church. And if you look at where that tabernacle is on top, so there's a staircase that goes behind there that we all get to, as long as it's open, which it normally is. There's a staircase you get to go up behind, and behind, sometimes the tabernacle door is open, but if not, when you walk behind it, you get to see the Blessed Sacrament, the Eucharistic miracle there, and adore our Lord right there behind it. And I can't even explain the what it's like to do that, but it's just such a beautiful experience to do that. And so and it's nice because it's on our way to Fatima. So, and it's not too far from Lisbon, I think within an hour of Lisbon. So
Yeah, from what I read, it was quite close.
yeah.
And this church is also quite beautiful. It's
It
a
is.
really beautiful
Mhm.
style of Baroque architecture on the inside, if you have, are bent towards the arts a little bit. So also you're going to be going to the Cathedral of Our Lady of Conception, and here you're going to tour the church itself and the museum as well. And it's right in the historic part of the city. It was built by the Jesuits.
It is stunning. That church is so beautiful. It's just a beautiful church. You'll love it. So
Yes, a very unique architecture I
Mhm.
see here. And here's a shot of the inside of it as well. Stunning, really. That metal work is amazing.
it is. And they have the blue and white tiles in there. And I just love those that Portugal's so well known for. It's just a beautiful church there.
Yeah, those azulejo tiles are gorgeous. I had a friend that when we went to Portugal, she ended up bringing home enough to tile a part of her bathroom.
Oh,
And
that's
yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. They're all hand painted. So from here we go to Fatima, of course, and here we'll have a local guide. So you'll have somebody that's going to take you around that's from, is this where your Monica, where your guide was from?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you're going to meet, and I've heard really good things about him as well. I know he's very passionate about the area and everything. So you're going to learn a lot about the area of itself. But this marks the spot where the Virgin Mary appeared in 1917 to 3 children. So you're going to hear of the history of that. And you're going to hear a little bit about what the Virgin Mary told the children and the warning of Fatima, that war is punishment for sin as well. So you're going to hear a bit about that. And here's another shot of the area as well. So you'll have a area to go to where the Virgin Mary actually appeared to the 3 children. So, and I think this is quite touching, and I like that they have this set up this way that gives you more of a perspective of what actually occurred historically.
Yeah, and this, I think this shot actually is from when the angel of Portugal appeared to the children. So we get to see that. We also get to see the homes of the three shepherd children there, Saint Lucia and Jacinta and Francisco. And you get to see their neighborhood, and it's just I don't think it's changed at all. Like it looks the same, I'm sure, as it did back then. And it's just so you get to go there, and you get to go inside their homes and see where they were raised, and you get to see the paths that they walked, and then and so our tour guide, Mr. Armando is his name, the one that, grew up there and his grandparents are there. He just, the way he tells the story of Our Lady of Fatima, it just feels like you're right there. And you'll see where Our Lady appeared in a couple different spots to the children. And it's unforgettable, really.
I love that because being able to see those spots, it kind of brings history to life. It makes it real when
Yeah.
you're able to see that, especially when you see the homes where the children
Yeah.
were from as well.
Right.
And I know from what I read, 2 of them died during the Spanish flu epidemic. Yeah,
Around that. Yeah. Sister Lucia, not so much later and stuff.
yeah,
but-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And then that evening, you'll get the opportunity to enjoy the rosary and a candlelit pilgrimage as well, which is amazing.
To me, the candlelight processions here, both in Fatima and Lourdes, are some of the highlights of the trip. Like that, it's just they carry Our Lady in procession, and you're following with your candles, and you're all praying the rosary together and singing songs to Our Lady. And it's I don't know, I get goosebumps just thinking of it now. It's something you'll never ever forget because it's just so moving to be there. Oh, and an interesting thing too about our trip there. So we're going to be there on the 12th, the evening of the 12th and the evening of the 13th. And of course, the 13th is the anniversary of when Our Lady appears. This is the September anniversary, but what's really cool is, so all of us know, St. John Paul was attempted assassination against him. The bullet that lodged, that almost killed him, he sent to Fatima. And normally they enshrined this bullet in the crown of Our Lady, and it's normally on display at they have a museum there where you can see a lot of different things. But on the evening of the 12th, at the procession on the 12th and the 13th, they take out that special crown that has the bullet from Pope John Paul, and they crown Our Lady with that. And they have a special procession with her in the evening, and she's wearing that special crown on that day. So I always plan our pilgrimages so we're there on the 13th, because how can you not be there on the 13th if you're going to go all that way? So it's even, I feel more graceful to just be there on those anniversary of the apparitions and stuff. So,
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
That's
it's,
fantastic that you've
yeah.
chosen those dates. That's
Yeah.
great. The next day, so that evening, obviously dinner and as I looked at your itinerary too, it looks like the bulk, you have breakfast every day, and then it looks like you have dinner every day.
Dinner's also included.
It's lunch that's basically would be on your own, and that would be it. But the next morning, you have mass at the Chapel of Apparitions, and it's one of the places, the exact spot where Mary appeared.
Mhm.
So I think that's also very great as well, that you're doing something like that in the morning. And then you have the day at leisure here. So I'm sure there's a lot of things you might want to revisit while you're here, or some other things that you want to do on your own. Veronica, do you have some options for if they have some free time this day that they might want to try or do?
Yeah, there's definitely, this is like she said, the Chapel of Apparitions, but then there's the cathedral, which is beautiful, and where the children are buried. So you can, pray by their tombs that are there. There's that museum that I mentioned. And so you go in, they show you like a video, a movie about Our Lady of Fatima, short one. And then you can see all the different things that were donated to the shrine in honor of Our Lady. Beautiful monstrances. You can see, just different favors people have gained for her, healings that they've sent in, sort of like what you would see at Lourdes, but even still at Fatima. There's a Eucharistic Adoration Chapel open there. There's Stations of the Cross. There's just a lot to do. And then there's shopping too. There's a lot of, religious goods stores there that you can, get your souvenirs there. And they also have, you can buy candles. They have a big grotto where you can light candles for your intentions and place them there with Our Lady. And so there's definitely not going to be a lack of things for you to do on that day off. We purposely built in this day. So one, also so that you can, if you need to sleep a little bit, you can catch up on your sleep. And then, but also so you can revisit the places. A lot of people will go back to where the village where the children are. and, look at that on their own, take it, more slowly. So there's definitely plenty to do there. So.
Yeah, I love that you've built in a little bit of free time because, structure is fine, but it's also nice to have some time to experience things that are personal to you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of great that you guys did that as well. So from Fatima on to Coimbra, which is a really unique city. I really enjoyed Coimbra quite a bit. It's a beautiful city. It's perfectly preserved medieval city that you can see, and it's kind of built on a hill. Their old town is stunning when you go. It's like going back in time. One of the things you're going to get to do here is you're going to have a private mass at St. Teresa's Convent. And you'll get to see the St. Lucia Memorial, which is really a step-by-step of her life. So you'll get to experience that as well. I was doing,
Oh,
go ahead.
I
No,
was
no.
just saying, this chapel right here is in her convent. So this is where she prayed. This is where, she had mass. You get to, sometimes the sisters will be there. They're behind this grill, I guess you know what you call it, but they let us in. Very, very beautiful place. And it's just neat to be there where St. Lucia was there, Sister Lucia was there. It's just,
Mhm.
to get to pray where she prayed is really an amazing opportunity.
And then you'll also get to see the St. Lucia Memorial. So it's almost like a museum portion of it dedicated to her. And you'll get to see a lot of historical artifacts and hear more about her life. Because she lived her final years here, which were 58 years that she lived here and then eventually died here as well. And I was reading, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Veronica, but I was reading on June 22nd that she was made venerable on her way to sainthood by the Pope.
You know what? I don't know the date of that, but she should be if she's not.
Yes.
Not by that, but I don't actually know the date on that when that
Okay.
happened, but
And there she is as well.
you get to see in the museum, they have like a recreation of her cell. It's kind of cool because it shows like the typewriter, as society progressed, she had so much correspondence, people writing to her for prayers, requests and stuff. And so, she eventually got a typewriter and you just get to see, it's not a very big museum, but it's just nice to see, what her cell looked like. I think it has some habits. It has some of her letters that she wrote, that kind of thing. So.
I love that because I think it brings history to life when you see that kind of, those kind of artifacts. So from here, it's on to Avila, Spain. And it's a beautiful drive there, by the way, because it's set in the rolling hills of, it's a little bit northwest actually of Madrid in that area. What I loved about this town, and as I was reading about it and looking at the photographs, was the completely intact walls of the city, the medieval walls of the city. It's like going back in time, literally, when you see it here. So you're going to have a locally guided tour of the monastery here, which I think will be also very historically packed with a lot of factual information about St. Teresa. St. Teresa established the Carmelite order of nuns in Spain in the 1400s. And she was also, as I was reading about her, which I loved, was that she was an author. She did a lot of spiritual writings, and she sort of restored the order that she was in. So you'll have an opportunity to visit that, as well as the convent of St. Teresa here as well. Also, you'll have a private mass at the Cathedral of Avila, which I love that you're having these masses together with your group. I think it's just in places like this, it's such a bonding experience. It's an amazing to be able to do that as well. So from Avila, again, the countryside is stunning as you go through because you're going through the mountains and you're going to Azpeitia. And here you're going to see the Basilica of St. Ignatius. It's probably one of the most stunning replicas of Baroque architecture. It's beautiful inside and out. I'll show you a shot of the inside. Absolutely gorgeous. You're going to celebrate a mass at the Chapel of Conversion here too. And this is a place where Saint Ignatius answered God's call. So you'll be right in that area, very small, very intimate. And then also in this area, you're going to be treated to a local dinner. So now that you're in Spain, you're going to be treated to a dinner of Spanish cuisine. And one of my favorite things to eat in Spain are the tapas, which are the small plates that you can share. So you have an opportunity to do that as well. So from here on to Lourdes, which is really situated in the heart of the Pyrenees. It's in a very dramatic location. It's known for its grotto, obviously where the apparitions of the Virgin Mary appeared to a local woman. And here's the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. You'll have an opportunity to tour this. It's quite large. It holds 550 people, and the spire here is 320 feet. It's a very large church, but stunning. So in the evening here, you're going to also be able to do a candlelight procession here as well, which I think will be an absolutely amazing experience.
We also get to do a tour. I believe that's on the itinerary. I'll double check, but usually we do a tour. Let me just double check that it's on here.
I'm looking right now. It does look like you do a tour of this
So
area.
yes, in the footsteps of St. Bernadette, I want to make sure it was on here. But yeah, so what's really cool about that is like they take you around and they show you all the spots in St.
I
Bernadette's
think
life.
this is it right here.
Yeah. And so you get to see, you know, the story where, you know, her family lived in what was formerly a prison because they couldn't, after her father lost their business. And you see that you get to go into where her family lived in there and you get to see the conditions that her family lived in and you get to see the town. I can't remember, but I feel like we see her baptismal font where she was baptized. And it's just really neat to see where she lived and grew up and the hardships that her family endured, really. You know, and then Our Lady appeared to her and you get to the grotto, of course, is there. And I just love Lourdes so much. I love Fatima, of course, but Lourdes, I feel is just even, you get to go into the grotto where Our Lady appeared. You just get to be so close there and stuff. It's just really beautiful. And, you know, again, you have the candlelight processions there. And then the water, you can bring home water. Yeah, there she is. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about the last.
No, this is good
day,
because
course,
then,
but,
I'll do the slides as you do.
yeah, but so you can walk in that grotto and just pray there and light the candles. And then they have, you can't see in this picture, but where the water is, you know, you can bring that home. Yeah. Yeah. And then they have spigots too. So, and you don't have to worry about bringing water bottles to bring her. Every store and Lourdes sells water bottles to bring home. You won't be lacking for places to buy those, you know, bottles to bring home the holy water from Lourdes and stuff. But it's just beautiful. And you see so many people that are there too in wheelchairs and for healing. And it's just, there's a beautiful statue of Our Lady of Lourdes besides the one in the grotto with this gorgeous gold crown on and, you know, in her blue sash. And it's really.
I do believe too, you're given opportunity to have some free time here as well.
Yes,
So
we
if you
do
want to
definitely.
take some of the healing waters or if you want.
That's right. So
Yeah.
the first day we get there, but the second day we have a tour in the morning and then the rest of the day is free until we have our farewell dinner. And then that night we do go to Toulouse. We used to do it where we spent the second night in Lourdes. But what happens is when you have to catch the, you know, an early morning flight in Toulouse, which is where we fly out of, it's about 2.5 hour ride. And so the last time in June, because we had a base out when people's flights were, we wound up leaving Lourdes at like 2 in the morning, and that was really rough. So we decided to be better this time. We'll have almost 2 full days. One night we'll have our goodbye dinner in Lourdes. And then after dinner, we'll go up to Toulouse. That way we can get to the airport. We'll be close and it won't be so painful the next morning trying to leave.
And
So.
Toulouse is a great little place too. It's a beautiful little city,
No.
so you'll have an opportunity to be there. Probably not for a whole long time, but
Depends, I guess, on your flight times
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
And then you'll be leaving the next morning to come back to
Yeah.
the US.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did want to bring up the point, and we talked a little bit about with some of you that came on early, but you can stay longer if you like to. You can stay, you can go up to Paris, you can add on whatever you would like to. I know that Veronica was talking about seeing how many people want to go to Paris. Maybe she could, if she had enough to do a group, she could do that. Otherwise, she can do the individual reservations for you if you want to go to any other city. If you want to stay a bit longer and take advantage of your international air, you're able to do that as well with us. So just to reiterate, this is the information that you need if you want to contact Veronica to go ahead and book. There's a $300 non-refundable deposit, which is due by May 3rd to secure your space, but the final balance isn't due until June 13th. And last, we are offering a special. So if you book within 2 weeks of tomorrow, because tonight everything's closed, obviously you can't book tonight, but 2 weeks of tomorrow, which is April 24th, you can save $150 per person, which would be $300 a couple, which is a nice savings as well, which Veronica is offering. So at that point, I'm just going to say thank you and see it. Well, we can see if any of you have any questions.
I actually have a few things that I want to mention before we move
Sure,
on to
go right
questions.
ahead.
Real quick here, actually the registration date is May 14th, so that not May 3rd, so May 14th. So I probably told you wrong, Tina, sorry.
Yeah,
So
I went off your email, so.
oh, sorry.
Okay,
May
that's okay.
14th, that's the date, that's when normal registration closes. And what I mean by that is after that point, we have to release any unsold rooms back to the hotel. It doesn't mean that you can't register after that point, but you just have to know it's dependent on if we have room and if the hotels we have room. So if you decide, later in June, let's say that you want to go and we still have room actually for the tour, we still have to go to the hotels and say, hey, do you have room? And the prices might be higher at that point. So we really, if you know you're going to come, May 14th really is when you want to register for, but if something else comes up later and you decide now you can come, you can always check with us to see if we do have room. A couple of different things I wanted to go over the costs. I know some of you have asked for costs. So the cost for this trip is $3,595. And what does that include? So it includes all of your hotels. It includes transportation once you arrive in Lisbon. So like Tina had said, you'll be met by ground transportation. They will pick you up at the airport. You do not have to wait for the whole group to arrive there before transportation takes you, So, I mean, if they know that there's a flight coming in the next half hour, they'll probably have you wait until the next, couple comes in, but you're not waiting for all 44 people or however many people wind up. So that's really nice. You'll be met there. You'll go through customs, grab your luggage, and then you'll meet our representative there. They'll take you to the hotel. So it includes your ground transportation. It includes all the transportation during our trip. So that motor coach she showed you, we usually have the same bus driver as well.
Yes,
Is that right? Yeah. So we usually have the tour guide and the bus driver. And like Tina said, like having a tour guide there the whole time, they really get to know you. They know your group. They really become part of your family and stuff. So I really love that we have consistency there. So it includes that. It includes, I'm gonna make sure I get my thing here. It includes all the admission fees that we have. So anything listed on the itinerary, that is also included. It includes your breakfast, all your breakfasts and all your dinners. So the only thing you have to worry about is lunch. And then it includes the donations to the church, and the churches that we go to often request donations and stuff. So that is also included. So basically the only things not included in this price are your flights and lunches. And then we do take up a free will offering for the bus driver and the tour guide and also father. So at the end of the trip, you pass an envelope around and, but other than that, everything is included. Now I do want to talk about flights because I know that's a big, stressor point for a lot of people. So we used to include flights in our trips, and the difficulty with that is when you have people coming, if you're all coming from one parish, let's say, that's fine. That's easy to do. But when you have group air for a large group of people and they're not all coming from the same place, what they try to do, this is an air consolidator. It's not our company. It's not even Globus, but they try to have everybody leave the United States from one central point. So on our June trip, we had a lady in Iowa, and she wound up having 3 layovers just to get to Boston because that's just how it works. The other problem we ran into a lot was people would want to book with points. So we couldn't book with points for them. They also would want to upgrade to first class perhaps. And usually in group air, and this is whatever company you work with, they don't get ticketed to 30 to 45 days out. And then all the first class, or upgrades are gone. We also couldn't necessarily guarantee seats together. It just caused a lot of problems. It was not a savings to anybody. So what we decided to do was we could lower the price of our pilgrimage, and then you can buy your own air. If you want a nonstop flight, great, you can do it. Now, if that stresses you out, or if you're not a big air person, we will gladly help you book the flights. So you can we'll set up an appointment and you'll tell me where you're coming from. we'll get flights that you work. That is not, I don't mind at all helping me or whoever, one of our other employees working. So I don't want you to be stressed out about flights. We just did it this way so people were more in control of the flights that some people prefer a certain airline. So this just made it easier on everybody, especially for pilgrimages like this, where we have people coming from all over. So again, if you don't let the stress of planning your own flights, bother you, because we're more than happy to help you to do that. Okay, I know we did have several people had questions about this. How much walking is involved? If you are, not as mobile, or if you have difficulties walking and stuff, this particular trip and in general, it's not a lot of endless walking. I'm not going to say there's no walking, but it's not a lot of endless walking. We usually walk to point A to point B, then we're, at mass, or we're seeing something, and you could definitely take rest. We had a gentleman last year who came on our thing. He was well into his 80s. He was in a wheelchair the whole time. And it was not a problem for him. We actually had some teenagers along on this trip, and they helped push, and it was great. And so, it's not like you're going to be doing endless walk. I don't want to say you won't be doing any walking, but you're not going to have endless amounts of walking to worry about. And another question we had, is this trip solo traveler friendly? Definitely. I would say half of the people that came on our pilgrimage last time they were not in a couple, it wasn't a husband or wife. They came single by themselves. And by the time we leave, we made so many friendships, and you share so much together that nobody was left out. Don't hesitate. Don't worry about that. Because it's not going to be a worry, for that. Another question that we had, is, okay, if you want to have a single room, single occupancy, I want to take a minute and just explain how that works on these trips, because it's a little bit different in Europe than it is here. In America. In America, we get a hotel room. If we're only one person, we pay the same price, and we get 1 bed or 2 beds, it doesn't matter. But in Europe, when you have a single room, like a single occupancy, so the single occupancy cost for this trip is $498, but you're going to get a smaller room. So you're going to, just so you're aware of what you're getting, typically it's not like you're going to get the same size room as somebody who has a double occupancy room. So they're smaller, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them, but they're very limited to come by. And so on this trip, I think we only have 6 or 8 that have been out that we're able to hold. And I know we're almost sold out of single occupancy. So if that is if you know for sure you want to come and you have a single, you're just coming by yourself, then you probably want to register sooner than later. And the way we handle that is it's just on a first come, first served basis. That's how we, whoever registers first gets the room. But there is a couple ways to avoid this. So if you get a friend to come with you and you split the room, that takes care of that problem altogether. We also are able to have requests if you are willing to share a roommate or share a room with somebody. Obviously, we only have men with men and women with women. So if you're willing to share a room with a stranger, that also avoids the problem of, not the problem, but it also eliminates the single supplement fee. Now, I did talk again with a different Globus rep. They are trying to get us more single rooms, but it's going to be as if a room that a double occupancy 2 people would have. And so the price is going to be higher than that $498 single supplement. They don't know what it is yet. They're going to get back to me on that. So if we run out of single supplements or the single rooms and we can't get any more, you are going to be able to do it. It's just going to cost a little more. We don't make any more. We don't, we're not upcharging it any. It's just whatever they charge us, that's what we do. So, so there's those 3 options. So if you're coming by yourself, you can either find a friend from church, or if you are okay with rooming with a stranger, not a stranger, but somebody you don't know, there's a place on the registration form to fill out to say, yes, please match me up with somebody. And then, you can, once we get permission for both people, we'll give you their phone numbers and you can talk it out and make sure you're going to, be a good fit. Okay, another question, how to register? So great question. You're just going to go to our website, which is Q as in Queen, QOH Tours. So Queen of Heaven Tours, but just the first letter of each word, QOHtours.com. And you're going to see book your trip. And so you just click that out. So you could register tonight. It's open. Our registration's open 24/7. You're going to fill out the form. And so in order to secure your spot, it is a $300 non-refundable deposit that per person. So that's going to hold your spot. And you can enter, it's a secured form. So you enter your credit card information right on there. The coupon code to get the $150 off, you'll see a section that says coupon code. And it's not like an official code you have to have. Just say Zoom attendance, or I saw the meeting, or whatever. I'll know what that means, or whoever processes it will know. And we'll apply that $150. Now that does not come off of your deposit. That will come off your final total. That's the balance due at the end. So, and if you forget, just call us and tell us, and we'll apply that to you. And you can't stack it with other discounts, because I know we did have an early bird discount that some of you signed up with, so we can only do one. And somebody asked about a clergy discount. We do offer a clergy discount. It's $150, the same as this discount here. So I guess you can choose whether you want to write clergy or you want to write Zoom presentation to get the discount. This is important, a little bit about passports. If you don't have your passport yet, you do want to get it soon. They're not taking as long as it was coming right off of COVID, but still, you never know, glitches or whatever. And you want to make sure your passport is going to be good through March 20th, 2025. It has to be valid 6 months past our return date. So make sure it's valid March 20th, 2025. And when you register, this is important as well, make sure you register with your name on your passport. So if your name is Bob, everybody calls you Bob, but it's really Robert. That's your legal name that's on your passport. Please make sure you register with your, your passport name. It'll ask you on the registration form for the code, the tour code, and our tour code for this is 40911. So that was 40911. It's also, if you go to the website and you click on the Fatima pilgrimage page, you'll see the whole itinerary, and you'll see, the tour code. If you are registering with a friend, like if you're traveling with a friend, but you're not going to pay on the same credit card, both of you just fill out different registration forms. The registration form is set up for 1 or 2 people. 2 people is usually a married couple that are going to be putting it on the same credit card. I mean, if you're sharing your credit card, that's fine. But if you're going to be paying separately, each of you fill out different registration forms. And there is a place on the registration form where it will say, I am traveling with somebody not on this registration form, and then I'll have a place to put in their name. So if you put in their name, then I know you're traveling together. You can also just call us. So if you forget to do it, or you're not sure how to fill out the form, just give us a call. Our number, I think you have it, but the number is 800-213-4295 for that. A really quick too, people have asked about travel insurance. So we do offer travel insurance through a third party. It doesn't matter to me if you buy it through me, if you buy it through another company. I just really want everybody to have travel insurance. I think it's a great idea. Not just if you lose your luggage, it's covered, but if you get sick, if something happens, you're typically American health insurance will not cover you there. So if you trip and fall and break your leg, or you get sick, or, our tour guide told us all kinds of stories. Someone had a heart attack. Not only did the trip insurance pay for the guy's medical coverage, but it also paid for somebody to fly out from the United States, their family member, to be with them. Because obviously, as much as we love everybody who comes with, we can't have the whole group stay behind when somebody's in the hospital. Like, everybody does have to move on. So I just highly recommend trip insurance through us, through somebody else, wherever, usually to just the insurance with credit cards that sometimes you get trip insurance, it doesn't usually cover a lot. So just make sure you know what you're covered with when you call. And we do work with Travel Insured. There's a link on our website to do it. But like I said, it doesn't matter. I don't mind who you get it through. And somebody asked too, are these places we're going to safe? So obviously we can't guarantee 100% nothing bad is going to happen. We just can't do that. But overall, this is the state department, there's no travel advisories. It's just normal precautions you would do on any kind of trip that you would take. You're going to want to be careful of your stuff so you don't run into pickpockets, but it's not anything dangerous. Like, we had a trip, we were supposed to be in the Holy Land in March. Well, obviously we had to cancel that and stuff. So, but like I said, we can't guarantee 100% safety, but to the best that we know, there's no threats. There's nothing going on at these locations. And, but I will say trip insurance, if something bad did happen, trip insurance usually covers your evacuation from there too. So, and if there's a political unrest or something going on. So it's just, I don't know, it's just really, in my mind, important to have that travel insurance. Okay, that I think, let me just double check my notes here. Oh yeah, so I do want to, obviously you know this, but I just want to make it clear, this is a Catholic pilgrimage. So we do pray the rosary together on the bus. We do pray the Divine Mercy Chaplet together. We have mass every day. So I just want to make sure you all know that, you know, you're welcome. Everyone's welcome to join us, but it is definitely Catholic in nature, Catholic in spirituality. And also too, if you're worried about being tired, or nobody's obligated to come to any and all of our events. Like if you're tired and you just need to set something out and stay at the hotel, that's totally fine. The only time you need to be somewhere is on the bus when we go to the next city, so we don't leave you behind. But you know, if you're too tired to go to the candlelight procession one night, that's totally fine. Nobody's, you know, just tell me so I don't worry that you got lost, or, you know, that you were lost. But and I will be coming on this trip. This is one of my favorite trips. And so I will be accompanying our group on this trip. And so, and we do, you know, even though it is a pilgrimage, and, you know, penance is important in our life, we do make sure that you get a good night's rest. Like we don't run us ragged, because, you know, we're there and it's good to be refreshed so we can, you know, enter into these sites and pray and not be so tired and so we try not to start the day before 8 a.m. if possible. Sometimes if we have to be somewhere and we're traveling, then, you know, then sometimes we have to do a little earlier, but we usually try to not do anything before 8 a.m. You know, and then as far as going to bed, we're usually done by dinner. And then the evenings are usually yours to do, you know, to go continue seeing things in the city, or to go to candlelight processions when that's available, or, you know, they're on your own and stuff. So let me just double check my notes here. I think that's it. So if anybody has questions, feel free, you can unmute yourself and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Hi, good evening. It's Diane Maloney.
Hi,
How are
Diana.
you, Veronica?
Good to see you.
You too. Thank you. So I just have a couple of questions. The first is in terms of money.
Yes.
American dollars, do we have to do a conversion? What's recommended?
So we recommend euros. The amount you bring is really up to you. Usually between, I mean, most places take credit cards. So you're going to want to make sure that whatever credit card you bring, make sure it does not charge transaction fees. You will really rack those up if you don't have that on your credit card. And then, so most places do take euros or take credit cards if they're, you know, but I do bring euros. I suggest it because sometimes you do, you know, the street vendors only take, you know, cash, or the little stores that you go to. So it depends on what you're comfortable. I usually recommend around $300 to get started. There are definitely places once you get there that you can get money out of an ATM from there, or the banks and stuff. And usually to get euros, usually your local bank, I know our bank does it. You can just call your bank and you have to order them. So don't wait till like the day before we leave to do it. But just give yourself some time, you know, to get it. But euros
It takes
and
about a week. I think a week to
Yeah.
get euros from a local bank here.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the other question is breakfast. Is that at the each hotel is breakfast will be?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me tell you,
And then,
breakfast in Europe are not like breakfast at our hotels here. They are like amazing. So it's not like you're going to be at the Super 8 eating a waffle or something. It's really great there.
I know. So Tina mentioned the tarts. Oh my goodness. Like I don't know if you saw me on camera or not, but my eyes like,
Yes. Oh my God, they're so good. They're delicious.
I am a sweet person. Like I'll take that over regular food any day. You're on my sweet.
Well, you're going to be in luck because there's a lot to choose from when we go. So.
And then my last question is booking the flight. So I am definitely going to be contacting you.
Great. Yeah, please do.
For my flights. But when would we have to do that? Or like what?
So what I usually say is to wait until after our deposit date. So after May 15th, then we get a better idea. We know people are coming, where people generally are coming from. And then, you know, because some people like to carpool too, because if we have people coming from the same area, then we can do it. So usually at that point, so May 15th is the last day to book. So then I'll be like, okay, look, now's a good time. Go for it, you know, book your own or call us, that kind of thing. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah.
I am so excited. I
Hi,
cannot wait.
Diane, I'm so glad you're coming. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
It's a great itinerary.
So Veronica, I know that you're trying to fill this trip up for 2024, but what is the likelihood that you're going to repeat this in 2025?
Hi, this Fatima and Lourdes is always one we do. We always do Fatima and Lourdes. It's one of my favorites, but also it's just a popular, people want to go to where Our Lady was and stuff. So we do have 2025. We don't have the details down. I think in 2025, we might go back to June. June might be our target date. I really like June. May, of course, May is beautiful. May 13th is the first apparition of Our Lady there, but it is insane. It is packed. It is so busy there that, you know, I know most people, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you can't even barely move in May, and, you know, at the processions and stuff. So June was a perfect month as well. September is also a good month because October, of course, is the last apparition date. And so it's also very, very busy. So yeah, so we're going to finish up the details. We have a couple more pilgrimages this year that we're getting to, but I would look to have the details done shortly. And so if I know you're interested next year, as soon as we have it set to go, I can definitely let you know that. So.
All right. So you have my email address, so I don't need to do anything else, right?
Nope, you're on my list, so you'll be good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was
Oh, yeah.
really, really it was very interesting. And
Okay.
I especially appreciate that you are kind about getting
Oh.
started in the morning, because the
Oh.
last pilgrimage I went on, I was up at 5 o'clock every morning, and my
Oh.
luggage was up outside my room at 7, and I hated it.
No, I will tell you, I have 9 kids and I am not a natural morning person, but my kids have made me a morning person, but I still am not a 5 a.m. person. I try to 8 o'clock is a good time. So that's what we strive for. Now like I said, there are some times where we have to move faster because we have to longer distance to go, but overall we try not to do anything before 8. So. Anybody else have any questions?
Well,
Okay.
you know what? I'll go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording. I'll download it and I'll send it to you, Veronica. So if you want to share it with anyone else, somebody
Yeah.
could come, or if you guys, she can send it to you as well. If you want to refer back, it'll be available.
Anybody who signed up for this meeting, because I know there were people who signed up but couldn't come because they had work. So anybody who's on this list will get a recording of it and stuff. And then always feel free to call or email. You know, my email is veronica@qohtours.com. You can email me directly, or just our general info at qohtours.com. That, you know, that'll get to the right person. But yeah, don't hesitate. Don't worry about the flights. I know that is a major stress. So I just want to reiterate, don't stress about booking your own flights. We'll be happy to help you. And great. I hope we get to see you all. I hope you all get the opportunity to come to Fatima and Lourdes. It's really, your lives are changed. Like, it is just life changing for people to come. So, all right. Well, everyone, have a good night. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Thank
Good
you
night.
both. This
Good
is
night.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.